Hey guys, it's me, Jake, from JakeMan21642, and today I'm so excited to do a video for you guys of my new car. This is what replaced my 2012 Volvo S60. This is my new, or at least new to me, 2015 Mercedes-Benz E400 Cabriolet. So I guess at the start of this video, I've already shot it twice and I'm doing it again, but I'll start this video with my reasoning behind the car. So basically, now that I have my Subaru Outback, that's kind of taken over daily driver duty. I live in the city. Most of my driving is city driving with really bad roads. And so that's kind of taken over daily driver duty, and decided to sell the S60. Like I said in the last video, the market is insane right now. It is officially gone as of now. But I was able to do great on that car, and I got a fantastic deal on this. So here it is. So as I said, 2015 E400. So this is, I believe, technically the A207. It's a different chassis, but it's a W212 E-Class, pretty much convertible. As you can see outside, what sold me on this car really is the fact that it has the AMG Sport package, and then which I'll get to in the tour in a minute, but this beautiful saddle brown leather interior. But outside on the car, like I said, Cabriolet obviously, so it does have the black cloth soft top. I know a lot of you are thinking that I'm crazy for getting a soft top, but you have to remember, this is a $70,000 car when it was new. This is a Mercedes soft top. A lot of you are probably thinking of a Jeep Wrangler, but this thing, I could daily drive this every day, all year, have no problem. And I live somewhere where realistically 9 months of the year you can drive with the top down, which is what I plan on doing with this car. So no complaints at all there. And the great part about the soft top, has its own compartment right here. It takes up way less space than a hard top would. This is a great car. You can easily carry 2 or 3 people and their luggage for a weekend trip or something like that. So outside, obviously, knowing me, the first thing I did literally was I slapped my plates on this car. I took it to the tint shop. So we've got 5% on the back glass, same setup as my Outback, and then 20% up front. And then I did the 5% shield strip. I tried a new shop out in my area, and they did an insanely good job, and they were able to get me in no appointment at all on the same day. So the car looks awesome. That is what finally made this feel like it's mine. Little backstory on this car is we purchased it off of a customer at work. I believe they ordered a car, or were at least looking at one, but they definitely wanted to unload this. I think they were also replacing it with like a BMW they were getting from their son, and then they wanted to get an SUV. We picked it up from their house. They had like 3 loaded trucks also in their driveway, so they definitely had the money to take care of this thing, and it really shows. But we ended up purchasing it from them. This car never even made it onto the lot. I grabbed the keys, took it home for the weekend, and after that I basically made my mind up. So outside, this is the polar white exterior, which I hate to be the guy that's complaining about the color of his Mercedes. And please, anyone watching this video that does not know me, this is not, I did not grow up around these kinds of cars. No one in my family has ever owned anything like this. This was honestly a complete impulse buy, but I love it, and I'm insanely lucky to be able to have it. It's not that long ago I was driving a Saturn, if you go back through my YouTube channel. But going back to the color, polar white, probably one of my least favorite colors. I'd say the only other one would be red. If this was red, I wouldn't have bought it. Probably same goes for black, but the white's growing on me. I think with the AMG wheels and the tint, it looks good. Definitely, white's kind of a hard color to keep clean. You can see I need to get splash guards for it. This is from a day of driving. I washed it last night. And then at this time of the year where I live, it's just impossible to not have dead bugs all over the front. But when it's clean, tire shined up, it does look good. I absolutely love these wheels because they've kind of got a gray finish to them. So it's a German car. It has crazy amounts of brake dust, but no problems really with these wheels. They stay pretty clean looking. So as I mentioned, AMG Sport Package, you do have the AMG wheels on this one, obviously. Riding on a fairly new set of Michelin Primacy MX M4s. These tires do not last very long though, so even though they are new, I expect to get like the rest of the summer, maybe the rest of the year out of them, and I'll replace it when it gets cold. And then up front, you can see, I mean, this was a city car, so it does have a little bit of curb rash here, and then on one of the back wheels, I can get it fixed for 70 bucks a wheel. I'm just waiting until I kind of get used to the car since I do street park a lot and it's a city car. But up front, you can see it literally just got brand new brakes like a year and 2,500 miles ago up front. I believe the AMG package does give you the cross-drilled ones from the factory, but brand new pads and rotors. Glad I don't have to worry about that. Outside, of course, typical Mercedes, all the chrome accenting. I think it's pretty fitting to the car. I like it. Around the rear, a couple little scuffs on the back bumper. I mean, that's kind of why I like this car and why I bought it, is because it's not perfect. And I drive my cars, I use them. I live in an area that's very, very hard on cars, so it'll, not that I'm going to abuse it, but it'll pick up more chips and scratches while I have it. So I'm not going to stress about what's here already. But on the back, E400 Mercedes badge. No 4MATIC badge, because this is not a 4MATIC. This is a rear-wheel drive model. Which, once again, too, I've got the Outback. I can drive that for the 4 days of snow here that we do get. Side, everything follows through. That's probably the worst wheel with curb rash. I am going to get that taken care of. Up front, these aren't the adaptive lights. So one thing I did lose from the S60 were the active bending headlights. They look like halogens, but these are LEDs, and they're so bright, I could care less that it doesn't have active bending lights. Other thing, and it is absolutely my least favorite part of this car, and I've got to figure out a way to get rid of it, is this does have the light-up Mercedes badge. And anyone who knows me, I'm not a light-up Mercedes badge guy. I do not need to let everyone know that I have a Mercedes, especially living where I live. There's some neighborhoods that I drive through frequently where you don't want to let everyone know you're driving a Mercedes at night. So that's going to go. It is kind of funny. Everyone's telling me to leave it, but I just can't. I really do wish, or I know you couldn't, I know the coupes didn't come with it from the factory, but I would love to have a way to have just a regular grille and then the actual Mercedes hood ornament like the sedans. But I guess we'll go ahead. I mean, it is a convertible and it's a beautiful day, so go ahead and put the top down. Just press and hold on lock. I just figured out the car does this the other night, and it is my favorite feature so far. And I forgot to mention too, but I did use some Chemical Guys conditioner on the top last night, and I'm pretty impressed with it so far. You can see I continued holding the key, so the windows actually went back up. But yeah. Just absolutely stunning with the top down. And when you're driving this, at least where I live, and there's plenty of nice cars on the road where I live too, but you are still the center of attention at almost every stoplight. Get a better shot now of that interior, which, like I said, that is what sold me on this car. So we'll go ahead and start it. Couple things I did gain from my S60, which I really like so far, are the power folding exterior mirrors. Like I said, I park in the city. I park on the street a lot. My parents' house, the only place you can park is on the street. So I really appreciate having that in a car. Intelligent entry, my F60 was, like I said, pretty low options. So you had to stick the key in the dash to start it. And you couldn't just walk up, grab the handle, unlock. Very nice as well. Exterior mirrors on this are auto dimming, which is very, very, very nice. So glad to finally have that in a car. Blind spot monitoring, which I'll take. I still think it's kind of annoying, especially because this beeps if you signal when it's on. But I'll take it, especially in the convertible with the top up. It is very helpful. And same goes for, I know I made fun of these forever, the backup camera, which I finally do have a car with. Once again, big convertible with the top up. And like I said, I do really care about this car, so I don't want to damage it anymore. So it is nice having the backup camera for parking. We'll go ahead, start it, and get out of the sun, because I've been driving this thing with the top down so much, I'm so sunburned. Go ahead and start it, foot on the brake, press right here. And you can hear this being a E400. This is the, I believe, M276, whatever it is. This is the bi-turbo 3-liter V6. From the research I've done, it looks like this is a detuned AMG engine, which at 329 horsepower and I believe somewhere in the 360 range on torque, feels great. Compared to my S60, this thing feels just as fast, and definitely a little more fun to drive since it's only rear-wheel drive. Go ahead and put the top back up. Just press right here. You can hear when I start putting it back up, the auto climate control will kind of pick up a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, even though this is a soft top, this is completely livable as a daily driver. The first weekend I drove this car home, it actually rained that entire Saturday. Now that that's done, let's put the windows back up. And you can see with my tent nice and sealed up in here. But anyway, like I said, it rained the first day I really spent with this car. And I went out and drove it around. And obviously no leaks or anything like that, but it's so solid. With the radio on the highway getting pelted in a downpour, you can barely tell it's a soft top. Typical Mercedes, it's like 3 layers. It is cut proof, which is very nice for when you live in what could be described as an up and coming neighborhood like I do. But like I said, I've driven the coupes of these. This honestly feels exactly like the coupe. Little bit of cowl shake when the top is down. It's still very predictable, and it lets you know and remind you that you are driving a convertible. So inside, this is what I love about these cars, is just the interior. I mean, it's very analog. And yes, it is outdated for a 2015, and I don't care. It's very old school luxury. You've got nice, heavy, solid, just bank vault doors. The wood grain, every surface in here is either padded, some kind of alloy, or like I just said, the wood or the leather stitching. You have the leather stitched armrest, all your windows, power mirrors, as I mentioned, power folding. Typical Mercedes, you have the seat controls on the door. Since these are the sport seats in this one, you have all of the extra controls down here. These are something crazy. I think like 40-way, 36 or 40-way adjustable seats. But all of your lumbar controls, I have the thigh extension out, but otherwise these are in fat guy mode. But still very nice. If you're on a curvy road and kind of want the seats to hug you a little more, you can adjust the bolsters and everything like that. So while we're on the topic of seats, of course, and I apologize about the air conditioning, but it is already feeling like summer here in Virginia. But inside, of course, speaking of seats, this does have air scarf. So you do have this right here, which on a cool day will channel heat around your neck, which is awesome too for driving at night with the top down. Having that and the heated seat on at the same time are great. No cooled seats in this one. These are honestly, they're German, so they're very hard to find with cooled seats. I've never had them before. I could live without them, and honestly, this kind of seemed like the first thing to always go in these, so completely fine without it. Over here, parking brake, typical Mercedes, all of that. You have your headlight controls, automatic, of course, and like I said, they are LED. Rear fog light, your vent right there, dashboard, all typical Mercedes. Gauges in this one, I mean, they're pretty, and I like them because they still are actual gauges, but I honestly like the pre-refresh more that just had the standard normal screen. This color one, I've got the brightness cranked down because it's so bright at night, but these still are very pretty. You have the floating speedometer. They light up very nice at night. In the middle, command. I've driven so many of these and been around so many Mercedes products at this point. I jumped in and felt right at home using this. All controlled down here. Kind of an iDrive knockoff, but unlike iDrive, which I know I always say it, everyone acts like it is the gold standard. This is super easy to use. My parents already can get in here and figure out how to use this. This one does have the Harman Kardon Logic 7 audio system in it. Of course, first thing I broke in this car was, I believe it was probably already a little sun-cooked, because from what I can tell, this car probably spent half the year at these people's beach house, but center channel for the stereo broke, or blew. I just unplugged it. I need to run by the Mercedes dealer on Monday and pick up a new one. Super easy. You just pop that cover off. The speaker literally pops out if you pull hard enough on it. So I'm going to replace that real soon. But otherwise, and even without the center channel, this is still an incredible audio system. You've got speakers up behind the seats. I believe each one of those is a subwoofer. You've got the center channel in the rear seat. I mean, this stereo in the sedan is phenomenal, and the convertible kicks it up a notch. Because when you're in a convertible and you have the top down, obviously you lose all of the bass, but in this car that is not the case. Another thing I gained over the S60, which, not that it matters, I'm not going to use it anyway. I do have navigation now, so nice if I ever did get lost, but I'm just going to use Waze. Factory nav is awful. Otherwise, though, I mean, just everything is super easy to use in this car. All of your presets. Eco mode, which I haven't gotten it to done it yet. It's already muscle memory for me to turn it off, but this is the first car I've ever owned that has auto start stop. I do not plan on using it. Heated seat controls, all of that. Right here, your seatbelt robots, as I call them. You can press that and it will bring the belt out to you. That's definitely going to be the first thing to break in this car, I can already tell. And I apologize, I'm really trying to do the best with the AC noise. Dual zone automatic climate control down here, which, I mean, I like. First of all, this right here is the reason that I'm in a Mercedes and not a Volvo right now. I could live with the 4-cylinder probably and all of that, but having physical climate controls is a 100% must for me. And in the Volvos, I know with Sensus I would be infuriated living with touchscreen integrated climate controls. This right here is great. The one thing that does scare me is these cup holders, as you can see by right here, are terrible. So that kind of scares me, spilling things on the climate controls. This button was already sticky when I got the car. You can see it kind of still is. But this button was sticky. You can tell something got spilled on it at some point. I'm sure with the design, these have to be somewhat liquid resistant. Half the time, especially in the morning when I'm on the way to work and this is full, I will actually set it in the back seat. This one is a smoker's package. So you do have, they're not used, but you do have the lighter and ashtray, which is very nice, actually. I love that it has this just for the novelty factor. I mean, so Mercedes. You even got the metal plate to crush them out right there. Drive mode selector, which actually really makes a difference in this car. When you're just in everyday economy mode, it actually does just take off in second gear, which I kind of like. It's so smooth for city driving. But sport mode will make you take off in first gear. Obviously, much different response to throttle and responsiveness wise. Right here, this is if you have backseat passengers, you can raise the headrests up. That wind deflector in the middle of them is also removable, but that will also raise up at the same time that you have the air cap on, which I'll put a picture in the video, but you do have a wind deflector which will pop up front, and it will create an air pocket over the cabin. Works especially well when you have all of the windows up and the air cap turned on. It's the typical Mercedes split opening design. You have your media port and a USB port in there. But I do have the charger back here for my phone. I do have a fast charger. And then my dash cam plugged in. I probably eventually, once I care a little bit less, will put my MagSafe charger I had in the S60 back in here. I've also got one in the Subaru I'll show in the next update video. That's pretty much everything for up front. I mean, LED interior lights, of course. It's the first car I've ever bought. I didn't have to swap those in. Garage home link, visors, and all of that. So we'll step out, try to wrap up this video. Go ahead, pop hood. This one does have all of the douchebag options from when it was new. Whoever bought this car really wanted to let everyone know they had a Mercedes, because these also do light up at night. I'll probably leave those though. They're not as bad. And it at least doesn't have the projectors in the doors. Back seat in this car, all of my CDs and my stuff are on this side. But back seat in this car, it's usable, especially if you're skinnier than I am. You could fit back here. They are pretty tight. They hold you in well, but you can fit people back here, no problem. My mom actually rode in it last weekend for a pretty decent drive. Armrest in the middle, right there. And then, like I said, the center channel down below, cup holders, you have air vents. The motorized seats are hilarious. The nice part about the soft top on this car, you do actually get a pretty usable trunk. Mine, as you can see, it's got some detailing stuff I cleaned out of the Subaru the other day in it. But this, when you don't plan on putting the top down, that will actually pop up and out of the way. And, I mean, you get a great amount of space, especially for what it is. Compared to a C70 or like a BMW convertible, I'm not sure what their equivalent to this would be. I guess the 6 Series? But either way, very nice trunk. The exhaust on this car is hilariously mean for a V6. Still quiet since it is a bi-turbo, obviously, but it sounds really good. If you did not see the cold start video I uploaded of it, definitely check it out. On this side, everything follows through. I'll hop in the back seat just to show you, even though it is really far up right now. And obviously, too, I mean, I have the Subaru. I did not buy this as a people hauler, and honestly, I'm in the car by myself. That's nice. But I'm in the car by myself 90% of the time anyway. But this will come back. It'll kind of bump your knees a little, and then it'll move up and give you some space. And also, too, I was slouched down, so it moved up a little more. But people, you can carry people in here, especially if the smaller ones sit in the back. You can see your spaces for a full wind deflector as well. And I mean, all the materials, the leather and everything else follows through back here, even the wood grain. You can see as well. It is cool too. I don't do it that much because it's a convertible. You should always have the top down whenever you can, but it is cool driving with all the windows down because you get like a pillarless coupe. And I believe the coupes of this body style, they actually were pillarless. You can see I haven't even owned the car long enough to order a set of all-weather floor mats for it. And I've just realized too, I forgot to mention earlier in the video the mileage on the car, but I got it with 35,275 and we're at 36,251 now. So in 3 weeks, I've put close to 1,000 miles on it. Glove box is locked at the moment because I was parked with the top down at Cars and Coffee this morning, but got all the books and everything like that. I actually know the used car manager at one of the Mercedes dealers here through one of my co-workers, and he was able to send me the original window sticker and the spec sheet on this. And this car was close to $72,000 brand new. Storage pocket down there, typical Mercedes. And you can hear typical Mercedes too, the direct injection just ticking away. LED daytime running lights, and then the LED headlights, which are super bright. These headlights are amazing. I think it's hard to tell because it's during the day, but I think the badge did light up. Under the hood, this being a E400, 2015 was the first model year of this 3-liter twin-turbo V6, which, as I mentioned, from all of the research that I've done, this appears to be a detuned AMG engine. So this is the same engine in all of the AMG 43 models. So you can also tune these. I think the Rentec tune would give this 483 horsepower. So things may change in the future, but as of right now, I'm still having more than enough fun. This thing puts off some heat when it is running too. But from what I could tell online, no horror stories with these. It seems like the wastegates get a little noisy, but I couldn't really find anything. These seem like a pretty solid engine, and pretty impressed with it so far. As you can see under the hood, everything is super clean. This car was very, very well taken care of. Gas mileage wise, I know I was complaining about that a lot in the F60 video. This is averaged about 22, 23 so far, and that's with me really driving it too, in all city driving. So gas mileage is actually up from the S60. And another thing which it has been great in this car so far is, once again, despite the size, this has a better turning radius than the S60 did. I could not even make a right out of my driveway in the S60, which I can do in this car. But otherwise, that's just a brief overview, tour, introduction of this car to my channel. There will be plenty more content of it. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. And any questions, comments, anything like that, drop them down below. Thanks for watching.